All right, and welcome back to the what is it? Late Night Lately, the late night show here on cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. I didn't say it was a website. I mean, .com insinuates that it's a website. I should probably start the timer for this show. Because I genuinely, I forget things sometimes. Full disclosure, I was reading something in an email. I was just reading something, and I was not paying attention. And here I am doing a show because I thought I had more time. For the Constitutionals, the theme song for that is like 20 minutes long. So I get to sit there, turn off the mic, comment on what's going on in the world. And yet here I am thinking I can do the same thing for LinkedIn logs and the same thing for Late Night Lately. So you thought I messed up again. I messed up the show again, but I did not. I was trying to name the other two shows that I do. Late Night Lately. You know what? There's not a lot to talk about this week. And I did write down 3 jokes from the monologue. Usually I write down 5. So let's go ahead and see. I did not write down the jokes. I wrote down the topics. Let's go ahead and see if I can, again, off the top of the dome, come up with something decent to say. All right, here we go. The first topic is Clive Palmer and Titanic 2. So Clive Palmer is this Australian billionaire, and he wants to make another Titanic with like water slides and all this stuff. Is Titanic 2, and if anything, it'll work down under. That's the joke. That's the only thing. That's all I got. This next one is breeding sheep for hunting. There was an elderly man, I believe he's in his 80s, and he went to trial, and now he's going to jail for breeding large sheep for hunting. And I mean, the most important thing is, breeding an animal that cannot defend itself so you can go hunt it is basically the best thing for any big game hunter to do. I mean, these sheeps have done nothing but give you clothes and, if anything, appear to be some of the cutest animals out there. But yes, they deserve to die for being so soft and so fluffy and so weak. Who knows? Maybe those sheep are dangerous. And then the last one, Don Lemon Show, was been canceled on Twitter after Elon Musk and Don Lemon sat down for a one-on-one interview for the premiere of the Don Lemon Show. Elon Musk canceled it immediately following the interview, and now, in a case of irony, Don Lemon is back all over CNN. The story's all over CNN now, and he appeared on Aaron Burnett's Out Front to talk about it. There's no joke there. I just wanted to mention that. All right, let's get on with this news. The topic. The topic's mute the computer. Yay! I muted it. It worked. Okay, this week, again, I didn't have a lot of time to do this. Okay. Just got to put things together sometimes. This week at midnight had, I think, a banner week for the show. It could be. After midnight? Did I call it at midnight? After midnight. Whatever. Who cares? There's a lot of great guests on the show, including what I would call just a strange amalgamation of people. Chris Grace and Flula Borg, and I think someone called Pink Fox. They were all on one episode. I don't know who Pink Fox is, but it was such an episode that I would say would not work anywhere else, but you know what? It worked here. And then we had Caroline Ray and oh God, what is his name? James Davis, as well as Matt Rogers, all appearing on one episode. And if chaos wasn't going to happen with Caroline Ray there, then I don't know what was going to happen. She was just on Pete Holmes's podcast, speaking of another late night host, and she was just so happy to be there, and she tells a lot of great jokes. I've never seen her do stand up, but she's a very funny person, and she told a lot of jokes about Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which was funny and great to hear. Taylor's doing a great job. I can't believe people are actually commenting and saying mean things about her, apparently, because she hinted at that in one of the episodes. And then Desi Lydic, after Jon Stewart came back for that Monday, again, Desi Lydic and Michael Costa hosted for the week of The Daily Show. And these are two people I don't think I've ever seen talk before. Actually, I've never seen a lot of the correspondents talk to each other. But I still think the most interesting prospect to come out of what The Daily Show could have been would have been Desi Lydic and Roy Wood Jr. hosting the show together. Two birds, one stone, a woman, a black guy. And I think the show would have stood out for having two hosts. Again, similarly how the transition from Craig Kilborn to Jon Stewart, the show changed and brought in a new, I hate saying era, but a new era. And then from Jon to Trevor was different. I think that this would have been a great addition. From Desi to Desi and Roy Wood Jr. Excuse me. From Trevor to Desi and Roy Wood Jr. Anyway, they did a great job this week, leading off talking about TikTok, the TikTok ban, and RFK becoming the looking up his contender, who would probably be Aaron Rodgers. Might be Aaron Rodgers, not probably. Although these double interviews are kind of difficult, and I think it would be better if you have them in the if they do an interview segment. If they both don't need to be there, then maybe they both don't need to be there. If this is the route that the Daily Show decides to go with two hosts, I don't think they will, but there's a big if. There's a big if. Jimmy Kimmel had a good week coming off of the Oscars, had a good little Oscars high with a lot of great guests, including Oprah and Dwayne Johnson and Michael Keaton and Rami Youssef and Anthony Anderson. It was just a great little thing. I think he still had that energy wave coming down, and throughout the week they kept talking about the Oscars and referencing, and De Niro was there. And it was just a good old time. Like I said, Oprah popped in. And then for Seth Meyers, my boy Seth Meyers, Paula Pell and Paul Rudd stopped by later on in the week, and that was just a fantastic time. I didn't think those two people knew each other, but Paul stayed out with Paula. He was the main guest, the A guest, and then she was the B guest, and he stayed out, and just that whole interview segment was fantastic to see Paula playing off of Paul and Paul joining in with whatever bit that Paula was bringing, and Seth setting Paula up for jokes. That is what a good comedy host can do. Walton Goggins, Kristen Stewart, Sarah Bareilles, they all stopped by. Kara Swisher came by, and Bowen Yang was there as well. I like it when they have guests. I like it when any late night show has guests that I like a lot, that they stand out. And then Stephen Colbert, there was a Meanwhile segment that he did where his monologue was taken over by another topic, and he couldn't. And this Meanwhile, even though Meanwhile is already a segment he does, which we'll get this, what this episode is about segments, I guess segments, online segments. I guess I don't know. I really enjoyed how how he took on all of these great jokes and great one-liners outside of the monologue, which was really fantastic. Okay, let's get into this. There are for late night shows, it's really they really came into form with the advent of YouTube and online posting. As I mentioned before, Jimmy Kimmel was the first real viral hit when it came to late night in YouTube, I believe, with I'm effing Matt Damon. And that was such a big thing that everybody saw that and kind of went, we should do that. And if you look back, effing Matt Damon is a 15-year-old video that was published in, let's see, 15 years ago, 2009, 2008, 2009. I mean, it's in 4:3 aspect ratio, and it was. Oh, excuse me. I'm effing Ben Affleck, not Matt Damon. I'm effing Ben Affleck, and then Matt Damon was the one after that. That's the one that really blew up. They both have over 15 million views, but to see these things, to see these videos do so well online for a late night show, it really stood out. And now we're at a point where these shows really just produce things for the for television, and that's pretty much it, because they kind of have a threadbare what is it? Threadbare budget. They don't have that big of a budget. However, because of COVID or because of what have you, there's any myriad of reasons as to why things can happen. There is a lot of online only stuff, only topics or videos that really do well. For instance, Corrections, which is I think late night, in terms of just online videos, segments, I think Corrections with Seth Meyers is hands down, unequivocally the best to ever happen. Now, there's 99 of them, and it's pretty insular when it comes to the what he's talking about inside the episodes. But the gist of it is that fans send in corrections for the week. And if you go back to 3 years ago, March 1st, they weren't good. The videos were short. They were 3 minutes long. They weren't. It was during when he didn't have an audience, and it really felt as if there were a connection for the viewer. It felt, because during the pandemic, they didn't have audiences for late night, and it felt like hosts were talking directly to us. When the audiences came back, Corrections was a good input, a good substitute for those pandemic era videos and episodes. I love Corrections, and at some point it just kind of ballooned up into this big, stupid, still not really produced segment of online fodder for Seth to refer to his viewers as jackals, to hate on a McDonald's mascot from the 80s and 90s, and to really just crap on people and to get gifts and just there's something about Corrections that just seems right. Now, the reason I bring this up is because they're off this week, but the following week is episode 100. And Seth has said that he's going to stop at 100. And no one knows if he's telling the truth or not. It's the one time I look down at the at comments and I go, is this going to be real? I don't respond. I don't need to. I get my kicks off of Route 66. It got me thinking, how often do late night shows do uh, any sort of not behind the scenes, but any sort of extra stuff online anymore. Extra things online. Because these shows make most of their money, will make all their money off of the advertisers. There's no reason to really do stuff online unless it like explodes. And even still, I think maybe that money will go not to the show, but to the broadcaster. So Jimmy Kimmel Live does not have any extra stuff. After Midnight does not right now. They could. Again, that show should be 30 minutes long, and then they could put everything else online. That 40 minutes is way too long for that show. It overstays its welcome, and the hectic editing of At Midnight is what really made it special at some point. Sometimes Saturday Night Live has extra things to put on online. The Daily Show really stands out because it has what they refer to as after the cut. And after the cut is just questions from the audience, or what Trevor used it for was an extra explanation to the story that he just did, or it is also a place for questions, the stories, and then what else is it? It's Q&A, it's the stories. It's just an extra place to hang out, essentially. There's also, let's see. I know I'm missing something for the Daily Show because I know they've done a lot more. One of my biggest issues is that they for every Daily Show, for every late night show. Here's After the Cut. This is After the Cut with. Oh, they've hidden a lot of it. Interesting. This is After the Cut for last year. What's annoying is that they for every late night show they group episode videos together. So if there's an episode from Thursday, December 6th, where they have a bunch of clips, they'll just group them all together. I don't like that. After the Cut's good for personal stories, story explanations, and questions. Personal stories is what I was looking for. And I needed that push. I needed that push of seeing it. They also do podcast episodes here now, which is good. The Daily Show's been really good at that, like uploading the podcast episodes to the YouTube channel. But again, these things, they don't make a lot of money. And sometimes they don't get a lot of views. If you look at Colbert's Late Show Me More, it is a very good examination of what's going on behind the scenes. It's just a bunch of clips. Like the one I just clicked on is called I Heard You're the Goat. And it just features a lot of behind the scenes clips of a pre-filmed piece that Colbert did with Christopher Nolan. It shows Elizabeth Warren singing and dancing in her seat as she's on stage. It's just got a lot of great behind the scenes things that I think make it stand out from the other shows that Colbert is up against. That being said, the clips are getting 112 views, 112,000, 156,000. Like they're lucky to crack 250,000, which is very important in this day and age. And the Tonight Show, during the pandemic, they had Jimmy and his wife, Fallon, had some walk and talks, which I thought was really good. Which I thought were really good, rather. I don't watch all of them. None of my business. But I think in a way to connect with the audiences more, they more behind the scenes stuff. Not just behind the scenes, but like extra bits and pieces should be available for audiences because it's just fun. It's just nice to have, Seth not have to watch him talk to somebody, or Fallon to talk to somebody, or Kimmel talk to somebody. Sometimes we just want to see them goofing around and being dumb. Now, the buddy, but one aspect of that is also, besides the money, is that some of these shows are up against time. Like Fallon shoots before or after Myers, so that means that they have to do live to tape, and a lot of these shows are live to tape. And then there's overtime, and New York guilds charge a lot for the overtime and stuff, and they're very strict about that. So I don't know. I just like saying extra things, and it makes me feel like I'm a part of the show more so. Okay, well, that's the end of that. I also do like a good playlist. I like my own playlist of talk show bests. It's mostly just late night stuff, and it's in there on YouTube, and I enjoyed watching clips from it from time to time. You know, if Conan had a late night channel instead of uploading everything to Team Coco, so to get mixed in with podcast clips. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website cpluscomedy.com, where I've got interviews with your favorite people in the entertainment media. True or false? I just set one up for later tonight. This person, this person is on a different part of the globe, and I will have to be talking to them at a very late part of the night, but it'll be good. And you can watch videos of those chats on youtube.com/cpluscomedy, alongside video versions of this podcast, as well as the other podcasts I do, the Constitutionals, preferably mentioned before, and which is the entertainment business news show, and LinkedIn Logs, which is the jobs podcast. What show is this? Late Night Lady. You can subscribe to those shows wherever you get podcasts, the audio versions, and you can follow us on Twitter, Jesus Christ, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram @CPlusComedy, me @ChadBlackWhite. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.